Thank you for sharing your time with me today. It is Wednesday, and we're talking Afro economics, right? And getting those debt ratios in order. Each Wednesday, we talk about something different, something that's about financial empowerment, something that you can take with you. I want you to be able to get out of this when you take your notes, when you're in this webinar, when you're watching this, and most importantly, I want to encourage you all to take advantage of free financial empowerment. The webinar is absolutely free. So go in and register, let's do it. Go to Afro Economics, click events, and then go in there and register. We have stuff coming up all the time. It's not too late. Go ahead and register for this one. It will automatically send you the email. Click, you can get in and ask me any questions you want right now. So go into all of you who are in the webinar. Thank you. Go in Q&A or click chat. Make sure that you ask me throughout this discussion any questions, because I want to make sure that you get what you need. I have made a commitment to making sure that I am about serving you. We are, the Afro economics team is totally on board with making sure that we service you so much that you say, goodness gracious, stop bringing us so much. Look, and we're still not going to stop. We're going to keep bringing it to you, until we run out of air, until God says stop. Full throttle, right? Full throttle. So today we're talking about debt to income ratio. Now, as an investment advisor, you would say, what she have to worry about with that? But I'm telling you, the debt to income ratio makes a huge difference in how much you're able to accumulate and increase your wealth. Right? I mean, think about it. So where does this debt to income ratio come from? Well, you got to first add up all your monthly debts. You got to add up all the monthly debt payments. So that would be not the extra payment that you're making, but the minimum payment that is due on the debts. And in the workbook, the Afro Economics workbook, there's a budget section in there. You also, a big part of it, I can give you a PDF just separately, that you can do and start figuring out the budget, and you'll be able to see how much of your budget is going to paying debts. No, we have to understand it, and because if not, I'm afraid that you're going to go into this holiday season acting like it's okay to accumulate more debt, that it's okay to increase your minimum payment by putting more debt onto that credit card. Because having a credit card payment, bottom line, just means that there's things that you're buying that you cannot afford, right? So that is a high ratio, opposite of a high score, high credit score, right? But a high debt to income ratio will bring down your credit score. I mean, well, it's not really impacting your credit score, because you could actually have a high debt to income ratio. And if you're paying all those things on time, you actually could have a great credit score. But what happens is you still can't get something you might be interested in acquiring. Like you might say, well, I want this new home, and you want to finance it. So when you want to finance it, this new home might be bigger, larger, better, newer, whatever. It's going to cost you more in a monthly payment. So when they put in this new debt that you have, then it totals up to, say, $3,000 now, and your income still stayed the same. Well, you're going to be well over that 36%. That's right here with $1,800. Now, 36% is okay, but the closer you get to 40, the worse that you're looking. And this includes everything, all of your debts that you have, including your housing expenses. So I have like a little list, and I want you to kind of see, to think about things that would be included in that those debt payments. So it would be things like your credit card payment, your car payment, your and that's your minimum on those credit card payments, that standard card payment, that personal loan that you may have taken out, those school loans that you may have, all of that is going into your monthly debt payments. So when you go in and you say, oh, I have this great credit score, but they still turn me down, it's because the higher that debt to income ratio is, statistically, the less likely you are to be able to pay your debts on time or pay them back, and the closer you are to tragedy. See, because you'll realize that if you have a high debt percentage of your income, so this is saying, this 36% is basically saying that 36% of this 5,000 gross. Now we all know that the point that this gross is misleading anyway, but you do use gross. The gross income means that you haven't even paid taxes on it. So on $5,000 of income, you may be taking home actually $4,000. So your debt really impacts you even more than the ratio even says, because your basic lender is looking at gross income. So they're giving you kind of mercy on that. They're saying, but they want it to be like, if you have a 20% debt ratio, you're looking really good. That's saying that only 20% of my income has to go to pay these fixed expenses. See, because everything else is variable. But those debts that you promised to pay back, those are fixed expenses. Am I making sense to you? So you have these fixed expenses that that if you don't pay back, you're going to have to suffer consequences. You know what I'm saying? So you have to pay these back. These are things that you legally required to pay back. Because you signed a form or clicked a dot that said that I will pay back this credit card debt. I will pay back this car loan, or I will pay this back. I will pay back this mortgage loan. So, but with everything else, it's a variable. Those variables are like your cell phone bill, so all of your variables have to be taken care of with the other 70% of your income. So that's why you say like that, you might find out that you have, the higher percentage of these fixed debts that you have, the harder your life is, because these are things that you must pay. So if you lose your job, you have to make sure that you have emergency fund has to be even larger, the higher this percentage is, because that's the more that of fixed expenses that you have. Because you can go move in with your mom and dad, or your sister and your brother. You can get rid of your utility bills. You can get rid of those variable things, but you can get rid of the cell phone. But that car payment is going to go with you wherever you go. That mortgage payment is going to go with you. Even if you walk out, that's still your mortgage payment. So it's good because you're legally bound to it. So we want to focus on finishing this year with an understanding of what type of debts that you have. What type of debts, what debts you have, write down everything. That's the first thing that I like for members to do when you sign up. And then I'll say during our call, as we're preparing for our even first meeting, I'll say, what we need to do is tell me what you're thinking about. Tell me what's going through your mind. Now, before, I would always say, okay, I'm gonna send you this link, and I want you to do this because I have this nice little handy dandy link, and you sit up there and you put in your financial information, but it really doesn't tell me anything about you. It really doesn't. It doesn't tell me what's important to you. It doesn't tell me what your value system is. It doesn't tell me what your debt situation is, because you could be making $10,000 a month. But if you've got $5,000 in monthly debt payments that are going out, I need to know that. You need to know that that is slowing down your ability to actually save what you might need to be saving, 20% of your gross. So this ratio will actually be higher because you're reducing your gross monthly income because you want to save correctly. But you can't do that because you're like, I gotta pay all these, and then I also have these variable expenses. You know, you have these other things that you have to put in. And a lot of people are now signing for debts for their children, for your child's college loan or grandchildren's college loan. And you're not really seeing the impact of it is because you're just excited because you're like, oh, I have great credit. Okay, I can do that. I can co-sign for that, you know, but you have to be careful. And I also, you know, had a situation. I was helping a member a couple of days ago, and they wanted to help a child on purchasing their home. Now, the child now, you know, so their child is like basically my age. So, you know, I'm super grown. They're super grown. So they want to help the child, but we had to also realize that the taxation of their distribution and how it was going to impact them. But what they were trying to do was reduce the child's monthly debt payments. So they were going to take over, they were going to pay off a loan to reduce their debt ratio so that the child could get improved, because the lender is going to base your approval and your interest rate a lot on this debt to income ratio. So they might say, well, your debts are a little high, so they might use that to justify charging you a higher interest rate, but you need to understand that. And then when I was in discussion with them and they were showing me the interest rate that the lender was charging them, I was able to explain to them that with that interest rate that they were charging, there was no justifiable reason, and you need to go search for another lender. Just that one conversation with me, knowing their debt ratio, knowing their credit scores, allowed me to say, go with confidence. They went to another lender and they were able to save 0.25%. They went from 4% to 3.75. That's a lot of money. But if you don't understand how these things work, then that can be a problem. If you don't have the proper team, and that's what we want Afro Economics to do, for you to have complete access to a team that's got insight and information that can help you approach financial information with more power behind you. It says our people, the word says our people shall perish due to lack of knowledge. Not racism, knowledge. We have to understand when you go in and they turn you down, you know your credit score is good, you know your debt to income ratio is good, and they turn you down, you know that's some BS, and you don't give up on you. You find out if your debt to income ratio is high, these are the things that we've got to, you know, we have things that we can do. Make more money, right? Make more money. Get a second job. Make more money. And then you know, have more income coming in. Create more savings. Make more money. Make more money. Decrease your debt, right? Decrease your debt or decrease the cost of debt. See, this is where interest rates come in. So if your interest rates are too high, then your minimum debt payments will be high. So if you can refinance something and it brings down your minimum monthly payment, then all of a sudden your debt ratio can be helped because it can go from $1,800 to $1,500 in minimum debt payments, right? Does that make sense? So that's why you refinance if you're trying to do something like, you know, in a situation where a car payment might be hurting you from being able to get the house that you want. And you realize that, oh, you got that car when your credit was poor. Here's a lender that will refinance you and take you from a 19% car interest rate to a 10% car interest rate, and your payment was cut in half and the loan is smaller because you paid it down. You know, these are the type of things that we have to think about, and they can impact your debt to income ratio, which you want to be as low a number as possible. So you make more money, decrease debt or cost of debt, or even the combination of them both, right? Ask for a raise. Ask for a raise. Bring up this gross monthly income. Work more hours. Put more hours in. I thought, hey, y'all know my motto. I only work on the days that I eat. And I don't complain about eating, so I don't complain about working. And then change jobs. Change jobs, change careers, change. Make a change to get that income higher. Do what you got to do to get that income higher. I know that one thing, we've got control. We've got control over how much we spend. I know that. If you've got medical coverage at work and it will cover you getting counseling and you are spending out of control, I think that a lot of the spending that we experience in our community is due to some sort of problem. You may have had the wrong type of examples when you were growing up. Your family was always going out to eat, and you are following that habit, and you think that you have to go out to eat all the time and that eating out is entertainment. But eating in your house can be even more entertaining and healthier and expand your life because you're making healthier choices. I believe there's nothing that we can do at home. We can eat the same bad meal out. You can cook that same meal at home. Let's just say it was even like something fried. That you ate this fried. That if you ate that at home, you'll save money and save your life. Because I am certain that they're not going to put it in and do as much and care about it and have as clean a grease or whatever, you know what I'm saying, that as you would have at home. And I just make more sound decisions at home. Now, I was telling a client, I said, I've got to see you soon. I got to see you soon. I said, I want to take you out. And you know what she said? I want you to come over the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and I want to see you. Now, she just helped me, and she also told me how much she cared about me at the same time. Made my day, made my holiday, made me and my daughter's holiday, gives us something to look forward to, and then we'll be chilling in the nation's capital right there after Thanksgiving. That's a blessing. But it's like, these are things that we, and it's really, honestly, she knows. And then she saw, because I was in the newspaper the other day, and she said, and I know that you're vegetarian, and I'm going to have plenty of vegetables for you and your daughter, So it's like, we need to realize, and I said, well, I'm not vegetarian, I'm actually vegan, which means I don't eat dairy either, but, I might as well just put it all out there, right? It's like they had it wrong. But anyway, that the point is that we don't have to go out to always be entertained. That a lot of our debt ratio comes from going out, going on trips, putting it on credit cards, getting other cards, trying to impress people, buying clothes we don't need, buying stuff we can't afford, getting emotionally involved in the holidays. Doesn't even make any sense. I think about it every holiday season. I go, me and my sisters and brothers and their kids and everybody's kids don't even need anything, So why do we keep swapping these things? Last holiday season, I didn't get my daughter anything. We went out and fed the homeless. She had everything she needed. She wasn't even upset because it's not supposed to be about that. We went out and made a difference. And she said, Mom, I think this is one of the best holidays we've ever had. She wasn't even caring about the material stuff. We can't change the next generation until we change. I got to think about me before I can have any expectations out of her, correct? So, oh, thank you. Cynthia said, this is good wisdom. Thank you. Thank you. Takes wisdom to know wisdom, right? So when we're talking about this debt to income ratio, I just want to bring home the point that you can make it better. I don't want to see you over this 36%. I want you to consider having membership. I want you to realize that for 2018, I'm going to focus on all of my members having good debt ratios. Good debt ratios. First, I said, well, I'm just going to think about we're always going to be debt free. Everybody says, all debt free, debt freedom, blah, 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 blah. You know what? You got to learn how to understand debt freedom. Like I told my daughter, I said, oh, we're gonna reduce sugar. So then I have this all natural stuff, some granola cereal, and I was like, I'm, rushing today, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have the granola. This has organic cane sweetener, I don't know, whatever, but it wasn't corn syrup. It wasn't anything bad. I was like, it had like 1 gram of sugar in it. I was like, still, I told you, stop being extreme. You know that I was talking about Halloween candy. None of that. But so I said, instead of me taking that philosophy with you for this Afro economics in 2018 being a commitment to debt reduction, let's focus on ratios, because there's a whole bunch of people that can have high incomes and can. So just basically, it makes everything neutral. It doesn't matter what your income is. It matters about your debt. And that's why people can go bankrupt. They can be making go, oh my goodness, they're rich. They were a freaking surgeon. How are they gonna file bankruptcy? Well, if their debt ratio gets out of control, and then their gross income is what the gross income is. So you have to, no matter what, if this is 10,000 and this is 9,000 worth of debt, then they are spending 90%. That's 90% of their income is going towards debt payments. That's out of control. So a person who has a fraction of that income and a fraction of that debt can have a much better debt to income ratio. So we want to be financially strong and financially wise. Any questions for me before y'all go? Thank you, Ms. Braxton Brower. Makeup artist extraordinaire. I love to see the entrepreneurs out here. How you doing, Mr. Murphy? Mr. Real Estate. We're gonna call him Murphy Real Estate. Man, this is a blessing. They say you attract what you are. So I am so impressed with you all that I am attracting. You make me feel good about me. So that's a blessing. Oh, yes, indeed. Mr. Murphy said, Murphy Real Estate. Get it going. How you doing, Mr. Cokes? Norma White. How you doing? Good to see you all. Thank you so much. So I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, jd@afroeconomics.com. jd@afroeconomics.com. And I promise you, the Afro Economics team will make sure that I do that. There will be someone selected today for the free ticket to the Black Business Summit. This debt to income ratio affects business owners as well. That when you're trying to get a loan for your business, they're going to look just at this. Your business gross monthly income for the business and dividing it by this monthly debt for the business divided by the monthly income for the business to get the business debt to income ratio. So we have to realize that these are the same things that apply to an entity of your business as well as you personally. So this debt to income is vital for every aspect of your financial life. So make sure that you're familiar with calculating it. I want to make sure that you are familiar with what you can do to actually get it down. So it says that a good debt to income ratio is not directly collected to the credit score, but we do need to understand what your credit score is. So I want to challenge you before you go to get in tune with your credit score. If you want me to review that, make sure that we do that as well. But knowing that you can have great credit score and have a very extremely high debt ratio, debt to income ratio. So the debt to income ratio is just as important, maybe even more than your credit score, because they both are used as indications as your ability to actually pay back any additional debt that you acquire. So I know that this topic of getting control of and managing our debt is very important to you, because this is one of our most highly attended topics Every time I say anything about debt, you jump all over it. So I want to get rid of that debt so that I can have more of you investing in the Afro Economics investment portfolios. I want this stuff out of your way so that you can save more, live better, be comfortable, feel healthier. People with too much debt have a lot more health problems than people who don't have a lot of debt. So it's going to help you in so many ways for us to tackle this. So consider membership in Afro Economics. It is very much worth the investment. I can't, so invest in you, invest in your financial health, and it will pay off in every aspect of your life and generations to come, definitely. So I'm at jb@afroeconomics.com. Go to the website and make sure that you take advantage of all the opportunities on the website. Make sure you register. Now that you're on the webinar, you are already registered and you'll get all my updates. Look at the beautiful scene behind me. That's beautiful. See, they couldn't even stop us. We got all the way through before the technology messed up on us. Y'all have a great day. And it didn't mess up. It just enhanced my scenery. You take care. And then, it says, I will definitely, at the summit, the question was, will we discuss more about business debt ratios at theblackbusinesssummit.com, theblackbusinesssummit.com. Check out my notes for the day. You will be pleased. So somebody's going to win today, and I'm going to actually choose two because I keep saying, oh, I'm going to choose winners. Then I never get winners. But those of you who are already members, you come into the workshop, the Black Business Summit, and it's all-day session, absolutely free. And I'm going to have food all day long because I love food. So I love feeding people. I'm from the country. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to have food all day long, and it's all-inclusive, and it's made possible by the Afro Economics members. So you all make sure you come. If you have guests, make sure you let us know and get your guests all registered and everything. But it's going to be a great day. November 12th, 10 to 4, 10 until, at the Marriott in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. And I'm taking it to Washington, D.C. Those of you in D.C., I'm with you. And I'm taking it to New York for spring break. So I'm definitely going to be Washington, D.C. for Black History Month, and then I was going to do it in January in DC, but I'm feeling that on Black History Month, and then going to DC for going to New York for late March. You all be blessed. Thank you for your participation. And if you have any questions after this, thank you for all those questions that you did. And if you have any questions, jb@afroeconomics.com. God bless y'all. Talk to you soon.